What would you do if you went above and beyond to accommodate someone, only to have your efforts completely dismissed? In today's story, the protagonist's choice is a masterclass in how to handle it. See, Leo, consider myself a pretty laid-back guy when it comes to food. Full disclosure, I eat meat, eggs, and dairy, but honestly, I'm pretty lazy, and cooking meat often feels like more work than I'm willing to do. So I've actually got a decent collection of vegetarian and vegan recipes up my sleeve. That's why I even volunteered to cook last night for a small family dinner, which is something I'd normally never do. My mom, bless her heart, is amazing, but if a recipe doesn't start with browning a pound of ground beef, she's a bit lost on what to make. This whole situation came about because my brother, Alex, recently got engaged to a woman named Willow, who is vegan. None of us had really spent much time with her before, what with pandemics and just generally having our own lives. The few times I had met her, she seemed perfectly nice. I honestly thought this dinner would be perfectly nice too. So, I really tried my best. I put together a Dijon vinaigrette salad, pasta tossed with roasted asparagus and cherry tomatoes. And because this is America, where carb on carb doesn't have to be just a dream, some bread. And let me tell you, I fucking vetted that bread to make sure it didn't have milk or eggs in it. I was so confident she could eat every single thing I served. At least, I thought so. We all sat down, plates were dished out, and that's when Willow started asking questions. Is there honey in the dressing? What kind of oil did you use for the vegetables? Whatever. Fair enough, I thought. I could easily imagine she'd been in situations before where things seemed safe to eat, but surprise, there's hidden animal products in the salad dressing or something. I offered reassurances, explaining that I had done my homework, that everything was indeed vegan, but then, she had other complaints. You roasted the veggies in olive oil? She asked, a slight wrinkle of her nose. There's olive oil in the salad dressing? The pasta isn't whole wheat? This is white bread? Yes, I confirmed, to all of her questions. Vegan, every single bit of it, but not stripped down to as few calories as possible. And then, just like that, she wouldn't eat. She just sat there, meticulously tearing one of the bread rolls into tiny pieces until the entire table was cleared. The silence at the table was thick, punctuated only by the soft tearing sound of the roll. It was beyond awkward. Later that night, my brother Alex texted me, fuming, about how fucked up it was that Willow had to go home hungry. And this is truly where I may be the asshole. My patience had worn thin. I replied with something to the effect of, I thought I had to cook to accommodate veganism, not an eating disorder. He told me to go fuck myself, which, again, fair enough. Now, I can practically feel a cold war brewing, and I know my mom, bless her heart, is inevitably going to get sucked into the middle of it. Looking back, I suppose I could have tried to make something healthier, though honestly, I didn't think what I served was bad at all. A comment from the internet, from someone named Maximum_System_7819, perfectly captured my feelings. Your NTA. His GF is out of line for going to a dinner without bringing her own food or explaining her dietary preferences ahead of time. They obviously should have hosted. This reveals Willow's greatest fatal flaw, her self-centeredness, which ultimately sealed her fate at my dinner table. Apprehensive_Sand_77 echoed this sentiment, stating, you did accommodate her. You knew she had one dietary restriction, i.e., veganism, and you cooked everything vegan, not just vegan options. Everything was vegan friendly. That's next level accommodation if you ask me. They even added, for the record, I'm a vegetarian and I'm used to bringing my own food or sticking to the salads available. I've never been to a non-vegetarian household where they make only vegetarian food to accommodate me, nor do I expect them to, and if it were me I'd be thanking you for days. That's a really nice thing to do. It made me wonder, God, does she act that entitled everywhere she goes? You cooked a vegan meal. How were you to know the specifics of what she eats outside of veganism? Because she's clearly just being picky. Shame on you for not using your crystal ball that day. The core lesson here is that communication is key, and true accommodation goes both ways. When someone goes out of their way for you, it's essential to appreciate their efforts and clearly communicate any additional needs beforehand. So, what would you have done in my shoes? Would you have tried to be even more accommodating? Or would you have drawn a line?